WrestleMania 30. Oh my God. Wow. The past few WrestleManias in recent years haven't really felt like WrestleMania. They really felt like an extended, regular WWE pay-per-view, only with like glorified flashing effects. Like WrestleMania 29, it was far from being a WrestleMania. It felt like an average WWE pay-per-view. Everything, all from the matches to the segments. Yeah, all WrestleMania 29, 28, 27. Despite having like Undertaker, Undertaker matches and, The Rock versus John Cena and whatnot, those weren't really spectacular WrestleManias. Yeah. But this year's WrestleMania was different. No matter whether you loved it or hated it, you can definitely agree, you cannot deny that this year's WrestleMania was eventful and unforgettable. It was a WrestleMania that people are going to talk about for years to come. This really, really felt like a WrestleMania. There is no denying that. You know that. I'm telling you, this WrestleMania was was great in many ways. Wow. And I'm in awe and shock right now. And WWE has been like predictable for so long. People want unpredictability, like what the Attitude Era had. Well, they got it. Although a lot of people are complaining right now, but other people who are happy with the outcome of WrestleMania knew that they wanted unpredictability. So they got what they wanted, and so did I. But the people who are complaining, they're never gonna be happy. A lot of people in the IWC are never gonna be happy. You give them what they want, and they still complain. Or they just complain about something else, and I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, so this is going to be my little quick review of WrestleMania 30. Yeah, so first off is the pre-show match with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the WWE Tag Team Champions. Had like the Usos and the Real Americans, and it had Ryback and Curtis Axel, and Los Matadores, which is like the sons of Carlos Colon. Yeah. In like weird Spanish Spain masks. And they come with a little midget Toro guy. But overall, that match was pretty good for a pre-show match, and it was a lot better than last year's pre-show match. It was very good. The winner of the match was the Usos. I got one out of 8 predictions correct there. So yeah, it was pretty damn good. The Usos delivered a great match, and they were amazing. And then at the end of that match, the Real Americans split up. They were both pissed off, and then Jack Swagger tried to do the ankle lock on Cesaro, and then they stopped and they tried the handshake and shit, and then Cesaro like pushed them and stuff, and Cesaro walked out and they split. Cesaro became like a singles competitor now. So yeah, that was the end of that, and then after that was WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania started off with a segment with Hulk Hogan, or the Huckster, as I like to call him, and he was talking about, introducing WrestleMania 30, brother, brother, stuff like that, dude, his usual catchphrases. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, and I was hoping he would stun Hulk Hogan there, I was really hoping he'd do that. I would love to see Stone Cold Steve Austin fight Hulk Hogan, but that's most likely never going to happen. But yeah, and then The Rock comes out with his usual catchphrase, like, finally, The Rock has come back! And then, candy ass and shit like that. Talking about their favorite WrestleMania moments, their best WrestleMania matches here and there. But it was a very funny segment, and it was very enjoyable. But I just wish Stone Cold would just stun everybody. Just stun Hogan and The Rock. And just raise hell and shit. That would be better, but nonetheless, it was a great segment, very entertaining. And so after that was the opening match was Triple H versus Daniel Bryan. It was a very good match. It started off with Triple H entering as Shao Kahn, and then after that on Twitter, I read that Shao Kahn was trending on Twitter, and then a lot of Mortal Kombat fans were disappointed that it had to do with wrestling. That was just so funny. But yeah, Triple H came out looking at Shao Kahn being all badass and shit. And it was accompanied by Stephanie McMahon. She interfered a couple of times, but overall, Triple H and Daniel Bryan delivered a fantastic match. It was amazing. It's easily the best match of the entire WrestleMania card. And I'm happy that Daniel Bryan won. It was incredible. It was a great that and the Hulk Hogan, Rock, and Austin segment were a great way to open WrestleMania. I gotta say they were very smart because they were recently launched the WWE Network, so they had to give something worthwhile. People are subscribing, for $10 a month. They wanted to make it worthwhile. They want to convince people to buy the WWE Network instead of paying $50, $60, $70 on pay-per-view or streaming it on an illegal site just because cable providers and satellite providers are charging you $50, $60, $70. But overall, it was a great way to start WrestleMania. And so the next match was The Shield versus the Middle Age Outlaws, as I like to call them, the New Age Outlaws. Yeah, they're the Middle Age Outlaws. They're not New Age Outlaws. Come on. They're like in their 40s, and they're not what they used to, not as good as they used to be. So I just call them the Middle Age Outlaws, and I think that name is perfect for them. And they teamed up with Glenn Jacobs. I'm sorry, I refuse to call him Kane. As long as he's in that suit and unmasked, he is not Kane. Kane died long time ago. That guy in the suit is Glenn Jacobs. He should call himself Glenn Jacobs. I refuse to call him Kane, and he should not have that entrance theme song. But yeah, the Shield won that match. One prediction I got wrong. Yeah, it was a good match, but I thought it felt kind of short. I thought it could have been a bit longer. But yeah, it was okay. So it was a decent match. Yeah, after that there was like a funny segment with like Ron Simmons, Sergeant Slaughter, and then Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They were just playing these little WWE Slam City action figures, I think. And then like at the end of that segment, Ron Simmons comes out and says, "Damn!" This was a funny segment. And then I think the next match was the Andre the Giant 30-man Battle Royal for the Covenant Andre the Giant trophy. It was like a bunch of guys from the WWE roster, like Kofi Kingston, Alberto Del Rio, The Big Show, Antonio Cesaro, lots of other people, Big E Langston, Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Sheamus, Fandango, Goldust, Cody Rhodes, and the list goes on and on. That was a very, very good match. It was a lot of people got eliminated, left and right, of course. And there was a really cool segment, the part where Kofi Kingston almost got eliminated, and he got thrown over the ropes, but his feet landed on the stairs, and he was able to get back in. Like, he was so fucking lucky. He had like green pants. I think that's what made him lucky. Green makes you lucky. But the end of the match was incredible. Antonio Cesaro picked up the Big Show, And the way he picked him up, it was just incredible. Like, he picked him up, like, better than the way Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. Like, he picked him up and he threw him over the ropes. It was just incredible. I was surprised at his strength. Like, I didn't know he was that strong. Cesaro really, really impressed me, and I really gained a new appreciation for the guy. So he definitely deserved that trophy, in my opinion. Like, he definitely deserved that. Next up is the John Cena versus Bray Wyatt match. Now, of course, I expected John Cena to win, but I was surprised. It was a pretty damn good match with Cena involved in. It was really good. I love the part where the crowd was going, he's got the whole world. I was laughing so hard. I thought they were high or something. But it seems like they were cheering for Bray Wyatt. They were really cheering for the bad guy. The heel. You know. But they delivered a match, a great match, both Cena and Wyatt. The other two guys, Luke Harper, the other guy, I forget his name, they interfered a couple of times, but Cena kept fighting them, and then Wyatt kept fighting back. And then Bray Wyatt, when Cena was about to do the 5-knuckle shuffle, Bray Wyatt did like the Spider-Man pose. It looked really fucking cool. Like, that was incredible. Yeah. But in the end, Cena won the match, but it was awesome. Very good. And then the next after that was the Hall of Fame segment, with all the Hall of Famers came out. Mr. T, Ultimate Warrior, Paul Bearer. His son of Paul Bearer was filling in for him because he died. Lita, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, and Carlos Colon. Yeah, those people. I saw the Hall of Fame induction ceremony last night. I think Jake the Snake Roberts, Razor Ramon, and Ultimate Warrior all delivered hands down the best speeches, and Lita too. Those four guys delivered some amazing speeches. Mr. C's speech was kind of boring though. Like, I don't know. I think it was Kane. That was the one that Kane interrupted, and I think it was a good reason why he interrupted that segment. That Mr. T speech was just dull. But the four guys I mentioned, they delivered some amazing and heartwarming speeches, especially Ultimate Warrior's speech. It was incredible, especially when he said, I just wish I could get the F back in. That was just an awesome segment, in my opinion. It was incredible. Yeah. So, and then after that was I think after that was like a segment with like Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, and Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. They're just arguing and shit, is talking trash, and then they came to an agreement they should all shake hands with each other, just to settle their differences after the first WrestleMania, because Mr. Wonderful was so pissed off that he lost in the first WrestleMania. Yeah, it was just pretty interesting segment. And yeah, after that was and then after that was Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. This is the big match. This is the big shocker for you. If you haven't seen WrestleMania, get ready to hear what I'm about to say. If you don't want to listen to what I have to say, this is the big spoiler that I'm going to drop. If you're not ready to see it, stop the video now. If you are, continue watching. Are you ready? Brock Lesnar won. Brock Lesnar broke the Undertaker's streak. I know, it's incredibly shocking, right? I know. Oh my god. I thought Undertaker was gonna win for sure. I mean, he's won literally every single WrestleMania. 21 WrestleManias up until this point. So it was getting predictable. It's like, oh, this was a no-brainer. Undertaker's gonna win. Obviously, he's gonna win, but bam, Lesnar won. Nobody saw that shit coming. The whole audience was like this. The whole audience was silent. It was incredible. The whole fucking audience, silent, speechless. Like the crowd died when Undertaker lost. You gotta see it for yourself. Like it was just totally unexpected. You know, you expect something like excuse me, you expect something like The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or Kurt Angle or someone like that to beat the streak, but here comes Brock Lesnar and bam, totally unexpected. A former UFC champion and a part-time superstar who walked out 2 years in his first WWE run. It was incredible. Nobody expected that. And you know, I think that's a good thing, because if it was something more, if Undertaker gave the streak to someone, you know, more worthy of beating it, like Sting or The Rock or Shawn Michaels, you know, it wouldn't be as talked about. Now, you know, this shit is like the talk of the town. Brock Lesnar didn't deserve to win. It's like everyone is fucking talking about it. This is shock value 101, and it worked. WWE was smart doing this segment. You know, they you know, Brock Lesnar was the right guy to beat the streak. You know, to start like the controversy talk. You know, people on the IWC love to complain. The WWE is getting stale and predictable and shit like that. Then they get something completely unpredictable, shocking, and surprising. Something out of nowhere. Something that's been lacking in WWE for a long time. And they still complain? Huh? Does that make sense to you? No, it doesn't. But yeah. Some people said it was like a slow, methodic match. It was, you know, it wasn't very good. But I didn't think it was a bad match at all. While it wasn't nearly as good as Triple H and Daniel Bryan match, but it wasn't, certainly wasn't terrible. But yeah, that was an incredible outcome. It got the whole world talking. Wow. And then next up is the Vicky Guerrero Invitational for the Divas Championship. Yeah, this is a complete nosedive from the previous match with Undertaker and Lesnar. It's like the bathroom break. The Divas matches are always the bathroom breaks. What a way to go complete 180 in WrestleMania. But yeah, it was AJ, Oksana, the Bella Twins, the Funkadactyls, like Natalia, Summer Rae, Eva Marie, Emma, yeah, and then a bunch of others, and Alicia Fox and Talia and stuff like that, and bring basically the entire roster, and Tamina included, the entire Diva roster, basically. And, of course, AJ won, like I predicted. So that's like 4 out of 8 predictions. And, yeah. So, yeah. The next match is the main event. But Randy Orton versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan. The triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The winner of the match, Daniel Bryan, like everybody wanted to. Unfortunately, his victory was overshadowed by Undertaker's streak. Undertaker losing his streak, yeah. So, but it was a hit and miss match. It was great when Daniel Bryan was involved, kicking Batista and Orton's ass. But the part where Orton was taken away by the EMTs and it was just Batista and Orton fighting, that part was just completely boring. Like that shit sucked. That part fucking sucked. You cannot just put those two guys in a singles match there, because you're gonna get a boring as hell match. I guarantee you that. So yeah, but it was after that, when Daniel Bryan came back, it got much better. It was pretty good. And then Daniel Bryan gave it his all, and then he put Batista in the yes lock, and then Batista finally tapped out, and Daniel Bryan won. Triple H and Stephanie interfered a couple of times, but that didn't stop Daniel Bryan from winning. So Daniel Bryan finally won, and I'm so happy. Ever since SummerSlam, he's been getting screwed over and screwed over and screwed over. They build up this storyline up until this point, and I gotta say, it was totally worth it. No matter how much the fans complained, no matter how angry the fans were to Triple H and Stephanie, in the end, it was all worth it. The storyline truly paid off, and I gotta say, I never really complained about that storyline because I knew there was something up. I knew something was going to happen. And I was right. I had the feeling that Daniel Bryan was going to triumph in the end. And I was very happy. That's all that matters. Because in a wrestling storyline, it's supposed to be about struggles and fighting for what you want. And in the end, WrestleMania was the perfect time for Daniel Bryan to win the championship. It's been one hell of a roller coaster ride. But I'm happy he won. I'm very happy he did. So yeah, that was WrestleMania 30. The most memorable WrestleMania in a long time. 29, 28, 27 were pretty much forgettable. Pretty much. Even, I guess, 26 and 25 to a lesser extent. WrestleMania has not been memorable, eventful for a very long time, and I'm happy we finally got the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania to be a memorable one, and I'm very happy. Whether you hated the Undertaker losing, and no matter how controversial it was still memorable. It was still very memorable. It got people talking. It's been the talk of the town. It shocked so many people, and it worked. It was incredible. That's how you do it. And who knows? Maybe this shit will be on local news. Maybe not. If it is, then they did something right. So yeah, WrestleMania was great. WrestleMania 30 was great, and I enjoyed it. The most enjoyable WrestleMania in a long time. And yeah, so that's been my little mini review of WrestleMania. Yeah, Undertaker's loss is Daniel Bryan's gain. Remember, expect the unexpected. So yeah, that's been my review of WrestleMania 30. Until next time, I'm AliRx, and I tell it like it is.